Welcome to the Asian Mental Health Podcast, brought to you by Shapes and Sounds. Hi, Marcus.
Hello.
Welcome back to Season 4 of the Asian Mental Health Podcast.
Yay!
And hi, Oscar.
Oh.
Where's Oscar? Where's Oscar? Okay, that didn't go as planned. Our acting skills are not so good, hey? But everyone, our third musketeer, our best friend Oscar, is not in the room with us, as you might be able to see if you're watching. That's because, to be really transparent, Shapes and Sounds is a tiny, tiny organization. And Oscar's role is like really continuous. Like it just goes on and on every single week because he's on the social media and making all the content for us. A bit different to your role, right? Which kind of has peaks and flows, peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
And so Oscar is sitting out of recording for this season, but he is busy making all of our YouTube videos. So please make sure you go and watch them. So to the ghost of Oscar, hey? Anyway, Marcus, since season 3, what have you been doing with your life?
Honestly, it doesn't feel like much, but just uni. I caught COVID again.
Yeah. Is that your second time?
I think so, yeah. Unless it's my third, but I don't think I caught it. No, I think it's my second.
I think that's the only time you've ever been sick since I've known you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So did that, but thankfully it wasn't too bad. And then went to Vietnam for a holiday.
That's amazing.
Yep. What about you?
Similar. I went on a holiday too. I think it was like my first proper holiday. So often, I get to go to Japan, which is great, but it's like to see family. So it's never quite a holiday. It's not like a true holiday, right?
Yep.
But I went to France and Italy, which was so much fun.
So nice.
So nice. And then I came back and went straight into like trying to undo all of that damage that I did to my body over 4 weeks in like hard training. So that's what I've been doing. And then I also finished up in my part-time role. So now I'm full-time at Shapes and Sounds.
Yay.
Yay. So like a lot, right?
Yep.
A lot changes, I would say, in a few months. But specifically for this season, Marcus, what are we going to talk about in season 4 of the podcast?
Yeah, so this season we will be interviewing a lot of the practitioners from our Asian mental health practitioner list. But before we sort of dive into that, let's talk about how the practitioner list started. Can you give us the history?
Okay. So in 2020 is pretty much when Shapes and Sounds kind of emerged. Anyone that messaged Shapes and Sounds, or like me at the time, the only question they would have was, do you know any like Asian therapists? Do you know any Chinese therapists? Do you know any Indian therapists? That was the only question that people cared about.
Yep.
And so then I was like, oh, maybe this is what holds so many of us back from seeking therapy. Like we can't find a therapist of a similar cultural identity as us. So then I just started to make a list. The first person that I contacted was Phoebe Lau from the Inner Collective.
Oh, yes.
You know Phoebe?
Yep.
She's got like such a great photo.
Yeah, yep.
But Phoebe was so amazing. And she was literally the first person that I found and the first person that said, yes, I would love to join. And since then, the Inner Collective have grown so much as a practice and they have so many different practitioners, many of whom you can find on the list. And I think what's interesting is it still is the highest ranked page on our website. So it's like you can see that people really are searching for a therapist of a similar identity as them or someone with an Asian background. And so we're continually trying to grow that list. And we'll talk more about that list in a bit anyway, right?
All the new updates and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have lots of organizational updates as well, I think. Anyway, in this season, we want to share some of the practitioners' stories, like some of the therapists' stories, because I think there's so much like shame or stigma or fear around seeking therapy. But if you could know that your therapist has gone through some really tough times as well, then maybe it like makes it a little easier.
Like kind of reassuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. It's like, so then I know they're a real person with real people experiences.
Yeah. Like real
Yeah.
problems, right?
Yeah.
And like if you know someone's story, you can feel closer to them. You can feel like more trusting. And that all leads to a good therapeutic relationship or therapeutic rapport. And we'll talk about why that is so important throughout this episode. So, on that topic, Marcus, I want to hear about all the experiences of therapy that you've had
Okay.
and like that relationship that you've developed with therapists, right?
Yep.
If you look back at different therapists that you have worked with, what has stood out to you?
I think it would have to be a therapist who can really validate my experience. I guess like the sort of therapy technique they use, I've tried different techniques as well, and like some techniques do stand out as more effective.
Okay.
But I think at the end of the day, it's like, this is, I guess, a really simplistic way of putting it, but it's like when I'm kind of describing something and the reflection they give is like, it's almost like they can read my mind, and it's like, this is kind of like the feeling I'm feeling before I even describe it to them.
Yeah.
So like I'm describing this situation, and then they're like, oh, like, yeah, that must feel so like this way. And it's like, yeah, like that's exactly how I feel.
Oh, wow.
So I think that kind of thing, like, yeah, like that kind of validation.
I like that.
Mm.
Has anyone ever got it wrong though? They're like, oh, that must have been so hard. And then you're like, not really.
Yeah, I guess so. Like,
Yeah.
but then I don't think that really puts me off that much. It's just kind of in that kind of instance, I guess I just try to explain a bit more.
Yeah. Like, oh no, actually it wasn't like that.
Yeah. Because I guess it's
Yeah.
kind of important for a therapist to know that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
And I guess what you're describing, like that is validating, right? Like when someone's like, I did blah, 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 and I felt blah, blah, blah. And then if the therapist is like, yep, that sounds like it would have been really blah, 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 then that's an act of validation.
Yeah.
And then you feel validated.
Yeah. And I guess it's probably different for everyone. Like I personally find the validation to be quite helpful. Maybe that's because like I guess like validation or like emotional literacy isn't so like good in like the sort of like social relationships and like my family. So stuff like validation is probably more helpful in the sense because I don't get that a lot outside of a therapy context. Whereas like things like, oh, like maybe you can rethink this problem this way, or like have you, yeah, like just giving me a different kind of perspective, which I guess is quite common in therapy as well. Like I guess that to me is perhaps not as useful because like I don't know, like I think I'm quite used to like having introspection already. So it's like looking for what sort of suits you, and yeah, it's like there's no one sort of good thing about therapy that works for everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
I think maybe I'm the opposite actually to you.
Okay.
Because I feel like I like when people are like
challenging you.
Yeah. Or like help me to see my blind spots, you know? I think like therapists who have really good, strong boundaries, and it's kind of like an energetic boundary, I feel. Like I think sometimes in therapy, so many weird things happen that it's like, unless a therapist is very grounded in themselves and they feel quite comfortable in themselves, or at least they're aware of like these weird power dynamics that are happening within the room, I feel like they can get really entangled in your story and connect, like sucked into your like madness and your chaos.
Okay. Do you have like examples? Like what do you mean?
Okay,
like
okay.
this sounds kind of like crazy.
Like, what is happening? Okay, so I'll tell you 2 experiences that I've had of EMDR.
Yep.
And EMDR is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. You know, the one with the eyes, right? It's really intense on your nervous system. And I've had 2 experiences of this with 2 different psychologists.
Yep.
And one, I like rushed them through the process. I was like, I'm just here for EMDR. Like, just give me the EMDR.
Yep.
And like by session 3, we were doing really hardcore EMDR.
Okay.
Right? And then it was bad. I got sick, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay.
And then with another therapist, my more recent therapist, I was like, listen, I'm here for EMDR. I've done it before. Let's just like get into it. I want to fix my
Heal
trauma.
now.
Let's go. And then she was like, oh, okay, I can see that you're like really, you're really interested in this. Let's just like slow the pace down. Have you ever tried this other kind of EMDR, which is really slow?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this one? It's like really slow. Like
No.
if there was a rhythm, it would be duh, duh.
No, I've only ever tried the fast one.
The fast one, right?
Yeah. The fast one, and then like they kind of slow down and like, yeah.
So what I liked about it, coming back full circle, what I liked is like, I think she did an amazing job by not getting sucked into my urgency and my like, just get it done, just quickly.
Yeah.
But she was like, no.
She was in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in control and she knew like,
I think that's so important.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think people can get really sucked into people's stories.
Yeah. And it just becomes like, it's too much drama.
Too much drama. Everyone's rushing. Everything's chaos, right? Okay. What would you say has worked or not worked for you? Anything in particular that you remember?
Okay, this is one example I can think of off the top of my head. Like, obviously, there's a time limit in therapy, right? So sometimes I feel like when it gets to the end of the session, it's like maybe like 5 minutes. Then obviously they're not going to ask you more questions and like try to prompt new things or whatever. But it's like, then you can kind of feel like, I know I've kind of felt like in those instances, they kind of just keep talking at you until the time runs out. Because they're like, don't want you to bring up new information, but then like it's like there's still a bit of time left, so then they're just kind of like repeating the same point over and over again until the time is up. I don't know.
And then they're like, oh, and that brings us to the
end. And then they're like, oh yeah, so this is like what you should do, and wrap. That feels a little weird to me.
That's so funny, actually.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that, like the time pressure to be like, yep, Marcus, yep.
Yeah. I guess it's a skill. Like, I guess it makes sense that they're obviously not going to ask you new things, but then it's like, how do you really effectively use that last 5 minutes? Like, instead of you just kind of talking at them, you know? But I don't know. What do you think?
I think I do this, or I have in the past, and in like supervision and stuff too. But I'll be like, okay, looking at the time, we've got about 5 minutes to go. Is there anything you want to say to wrap up, or you want anything you want to talk about to summarize? So then already
it's
you're
an
like
end point.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not interested in the next
tell
point.
Me more. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's like one of those, okay, I'm on the clock kind of skills without making it feel dismissive. For me, one thing that I think about is like, without sounding very judgmental, the therapist's
just say
cleanliness,
it.
Like cleanliness, dirtiness is something that really like I pick up on a lot.
I mean, that's so fair. I think like I don't think that's weird. Like no, for sure. Because you're sitting in front of them for like an hour,
right?
And like the whole point is like it's supposed to feel comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not to sound judgmental, but it's like also kind of just a reflection on the therapists themselves.
Because the way you take care of yourself, that self-care is like an indication of your mental health too. Like, if you cannot take care of yourself, then you might be really tired, you might be burnt out.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault, but still, like, if I'm sitting in front of a therapist that looks really burnt out, that looks really tired.
Yeah. It's like
messy, you know?
I don't know if I don't know if I feel comfortable like telling them all my shit, you know? Like it's like, oh, maybe you need a rest too. So you know, like
I don't want to burden you with my problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Funny,
I get that 100%.
Okay. What is the definition of therapeutic rapport?
So this is a definition I pulled from the internet, but it's the ability for the client and the therapist to collaborate effectively and mutually agree upon treatment plans and goals. So I guess
so in
layman's terms, like that's just like how comfortable you feel with the therapist. I feel like whether or not you really feel like you can trust this person enough to like tell them things and like really be yourself when you tell them things as well. I think that's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, obviously it can feel hard to like really be yourself and be extremely vulnerable with someone you don't really know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's how I would see therapeutic rapport.
And maybe it's like what you say about like mutually agree on treatment plans and goals. Like you actually need that feeling of teamwork to trust someone to be like, okay, we are both going in the direction that I agree to,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, if you don't feel trust, then you don't know where that person's trying to take you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about trust.
Mm-hmm.
As a therapist, and I think you'll do this like in your ClinPsych stuff, but we spend so much time learning how to build therapeutic rapport. It's interesting, right? Like it's actually a skill that you just develop, and it's all about how you sit, how you place your body, how you look at someone, how you move your hands, like where to nod.
Like they actually tell you that.
Yeah, it's called SOLA.
Oh.
S-
Solar.
Sit, square, open posture,
Uh-huh.
lean in,
Okay.
eye contact, and R, relax. You know, so you can't be tense as a therapist. You can't be like,
yeah.
you know, and they teach you like, you know, you can't like fidget.
Yeah, like
and
a
stuff.
relaxed, open body language,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Even like how to how to look like you're listening. So it's actually a skill, right? I think you do it when.
Really?
I think so.
I know you definitely do it.
Really?
Yeah, you definitely do it.
Like,
yeah.
wow, tell me more, Marcus. Tell me more. And I want to tell you some horror stories as well about like just say culturally responsive counseling skills.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't even called that. It was just probably like a 2-hour tutorial about like working with people from other cultures.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know if things have changed. This was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But all I remember is like, you know, eye contact is important.
Okay.
But then I learned some cultures, they don't like eye contact.
Oh.
So make sure you don't give too much eye contact.
Okay.
Otherwise you might offend someone.
Like
and that's all I learned from that session.
And there was no nuance to it. Like that's just
No
a fact.
nuance. That's a fact. Maybe
Okay,
the Asians
sure.
don't like eye contact. But I've never applied that ever. I've never come across a person or a young person of a different cultural identity and been like
I can't look.
I better tell me more. Like I've always done eye contact. So I don't know. Do you think that's real?
I think it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like, I guess some people don't like eye contact, but it's not like because of their culture, I don't think. Like, culture can influence that, but it's not like you're from this culture, so then you don't like, eye contact.
Right? It's not so simple.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't they like eye contact? You know, like maybe every person has a different reason.
Yeah. I
So,
never learnt that.
Yeah.
I just learnt it's not respectful.
Sure.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
all other cultures that are not white
don't like eye contact. Maybe it was also like they didn't even teach things like open posture, like gender dynamics within the room. You know, like I think that's an important consideration. Like maybe if you're a man and you have an open posture and you're leaning forward and your client is a young female, then that could be really threatening. So everything has to have nuance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, that's like a commentary on counseling skills. But I want to know, because I have read in different, you know, like tidbits of research and whatever, and I've learnt this through my master's and then I forgot about it. But I want to ask you this, Marcus, like in the literature, they say that therapeutic rapport, this connection that you have with your therapist, is like kind of the only thing that matters when it comes to therapy. But is that true? And what does the literature say?
Well, the literature definitely says that's true. And if we kind of look at all the different papers that have explored the relationship between how much rapport there is and outcomes of therapy, that effect is quite consistently found across all these different studies. So,
Consistently, yes, it's
consistently,
good.
yeah, consistently that this is the most important thing.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah. And what they do find as well is that all these studies have like they might be looking at different kinds of therapies, like different modalities. They might have looked at different kind of aspects of therapy as well, like whether or not the therapist really follows the training, whether or not they're competent or etc. But therapeutic rapport is the one thing that kind of comes up on top that is the most important thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
across all these different kinds of therapies.
yeah, interesting, hey?
Yeah.
So not just in psychology, but in other modalities, other therapeutic engagement
Mhm.
services,
Yeah.
engagements,
Yeah. Yeah.
therapeutic rapport is still important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the other hand, then like poor therapeutic rapport is quite predictive of clients dropping out.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess like if you don't really have a strong connection with the person you're sitting in front of, like I guess it kind of makes sense that you wouldn't want to keep talking to them. So yeah, like that.
Yet again, it highlights how important it
Yeah,
is.
like I guess yeah, the end message is it's really important.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's funny that people consistently forget this? As in, like, if this is like the number one thing, you would think everyone
This
would
is
be
what they
talking
would focus
about.
on and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I guess
don't think
yeah.
we talk about it enough.
Yeah. And I guess some people I guess they get so maybe this is me generalizing and whatever, but like maybe some of the therapists get so caught up with like just like helping people get better that it's like, okay, we have to do this modality, and it's like let's get through this course of EMDR and then you'll feel better. But then it's like maybe like the rapport is like what's most important in here.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's like very humbling as a therapist
Mm.
to be like, here I am, especially someone like you. You'll do like 10 years of study.
Mm-hmm.
You do so much study,
Mm-hmm.
hours and hours of placement,
Yeah.
so much reading, so many assignments. And then at the end, you're like, oh, it's just about how well we get along. Like, that's
Yeah.
actually quite humbling.
Yeah. And even like if you just think about like, I guess it's different if you work in a public system, but in a private system, if you don't have good people skills, like you probably won't get referrals. And like just from a
Yeah.
job perspective, like maybe you just won't really get a lot of clients.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You might be the best in your class,
Yeah.
but if you don't have that ability to sit with someone,
Yeah.
have a bit of chit chat,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
have a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the therapy.
Yeah.
I think that's humbling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that therapeutic rapport has to remain good all the time, or does it change?
Well, I think in therapy, it's expected that like there are some points of not conflict is the wrong word, but points of resistance where I guess the practitioner starts to challenge what you might think, any sort of like, yeah, like what you were saying, like blind spots that like you might miss. So I guess in those instances, therapeutic rapport might feel a bit weakened, maybe from the client's perspective, maybe not so from the therapist's perspective. But there is actually this really, really old paper that I looked at once.
Okay.
It's saying that therapeutic relationships that kind of have a U shape, so going from really good at the start and then they dip down to being more bad,
Like storming.
yeah, like that kind of thing, where like I guess the therapist is trying to like challenge you and like really help you get through those, I guess, more rigid and like bad thinking patterns you might have.
Yeah.
And then to be able to come back up out of that and have a good relationship at the end, that kind of pattern of therapeutic relationship tends to lead to the best kind of therapeutic outcomes. But this is
Interesting.
very, very old research. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like I think it makes sense in my head because it's like, especially being able to come out at the end strong.
Yeah.
I feel like you would learn a lot about yourself. And
Exactly right.
that I guess is the kind of point of therapy, like stuff you realize that you can't really do on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it would make that relationship stronger. Like
Yeah.
any relationship gets stronger with a bit of conflict.
Yeah.
Conflict as such,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Even if it's old, I think it sounds valid.
Yeah, like theoretically it makes sense, but I guess like
I wonder if it's changed.
how they kind of
Yeah.
tested that, like I don't know. I didn't really look
Yeah.
into that, but
Okay.
theoretically it makes sense in my head.
Theoretically, it makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes me think of like friendships as well.
Mm.
If you only have friends that you just have a laugh with,
Mm-hmm.
it's different to a friend that you can kind of have a bit of an like
Yeah.
a downtime with and
Yeah.
then move
Like
through it
you've
together.
kind of been through it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think
Right?
that's the kind of friendship that is more, it brings more value, I guess, to
Yeah.
your life. Like you kind of learn things about them, you kind of learn things about yourself, and then you come out and then you're like
You're better.
even better friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good
Exactly.
analogy.
Okay, I want to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about therapeutic rapport. It's the best thing ever in therapy.
Mm.
If therapy is all about building therapeutic rapport, then do we need to go to a therapist? Like, can we
Just have
can we
friends?
not just talk to our friends?
Well, short answer, no.
No? Okay. Why?
Well, I guess like first reason is like your friend is not a therapist, and I don't. Yes, we obviously we're saying like the rapport and like the sort of level of comfort you feel with the therapist is the most important, but like I guess the rapport is important for them to be able to do their work effectively, and like that
Okay.
work or like the skill is like something that a therapist has. A therapist will have the skills, will have the training to be able to like more effectively deal with any sort of distress that you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I guess if you just want like someone to like have a rant to, like yeah, your friend can do that. But like
Yeah.
in instances where I guess like the things you're doing aren't really helping anymore, like even after you chat with your friends, like you don't really feel much better, then like yeah, like in those instances seek therapy if you can.
I like that because you do need to express yourself to your friends and they need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But you're saying like if you do it a few times and you just doesn't do anything for you, then maybe it's time to see a therapist. Do you know what I think? I think I would even prefer to go to therapy rather than like telling people what's going on.
Why?
Because it's like you just pay someone to listen to you.
I guess so.
And then you don't have to like feel like you're burdening anyone.
No, that's true. No, actually I'm the same.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, actually, I don't want to put this on you.
Yeah, and there's someone who's like, that's their job to
Yeah.
listen.
So you take my nonsense. Maybe, huh?
Yeah.
So maybe people like you and I, maybe we need to talk to our friends more.
Maybe.
Maybe. But it's nice to have someone that knows all the active listening skills.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, maybe another example is if you talk to your friends but you feel like they're not really listening or they're like a bit sick of you telling you all their problems.
Yeah.
And you just get that they're not really there for you kind of feeling.
Yep. Yeah.
Then there are people that will actively listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
What advice do you have to someone who is about to step into therapy and they're looking through psychologists? Maybe they're looking through our Shapes and Sounds practitioner list. What advice would you give them? How do you assess for therapeutic rapport on like our website or just like a database?
I don't know if I have a really constructive sort of suggestion, but I think it's just like, I think the photo is so important on the profile.
Oh my
It's
God,
just,
it's
it's
so
just like,
important.
it's just, if you go into like a lot of different practitioners' websites, they have like a little blurb and they're like, I'm a person-centered therapist, and then I can do this kind of therapy.
Empathic.
And then yeah, on the weekends I like to walk my dog, kind of thing. I feel like it's like it's like hard to be really creative with that kind of messaging on your website. So
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like everyone is different. Like just because they're therapists doesn't mean like they're just one kind of person. So I feel like just find the kind of person you think works best for you. Like someone who's a bit funny, someone who's a bit serious. I don't know.
If you've gone on Vibe in the past, has it been accurate? Has it worked out?
Not always, I would say. Yeah.
It's hard because
It
people's
is hard.
like we look through our photos on our website, they're like 7 years old. No,
Yeah.
5 years old.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, not everyone takes the best photos, but like they could be like the best person ever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
The
so
message
hard.
to the therapists, right? Your
Market
photo
yourself
is
well.
so important.
Yeah.
I think another thing to think about is a lot of the time, if you are searching on a website, you really don't know until you take action. And that's just a rule in life, right?
Yep.
Like, just generally speaking, you never know the answer until you take action and try.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, that was good, that was bad.
Yep.
But I think the good thing is a lot of therapists will offer a 15-minute free introductory call.
Yeah.
And that's a really important time for both them to suss out you, but for you to suss them out as well.
Mm-hmm.
How would you make use of that
15 minutes.
15 minutes? Yeah.
Trying to think back to like what I've done. I actually don't think that my last one had a 15-minute consult.
You just had to go.
Yeah, just went like the first session was just like me learning everything. But if I had that, probably ask like, I don't know, like whether or not they've worked with other Asian clients or like just to kind of test like their level of cultural competence.
Yeah.
I guess. I think that is important.
I think so too.
From a general sort of perspective as well, like I'd want to know what they plan to do, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, like if you were going to work with me, what would we
you do? What's your case plan now?
Yeah, tell me your formulation now.
But yeah, what about you?
I think it's like, I suspect that they would have a lot of questions for you, right?
Yeah.
Like they probably have some kind of a template that they follow.
Yep.
But I think what I do, like I did in my last 15-minute free call / what I would generally do is like, as you're talking, you really try and listen to how they respond to you. So if I don't think I've ever asked this actually, but if I asked, have you worked with any Asian people in the past, then the answer doesn't matter. It could be no. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
But if they were really weird about it,
yeah.
like yesterday I
agree.
had a meeting
Okay.
and it was like with a peak body, which I won't tell you the name of.
Okay.
And they wanted to, I need to tell you without telling you the specifics. But anyway, they were doing something, right? And and they wanted they wanted something from me. They wanted me to look at it from like an Asian community perspective.
Yep.
And so then I asked them, well, how have you worked with Asian people in the past?
Yep.
And then the answer was so weird.
Really?
It was so weird. They were like,
just like frantic, like.
Yeah, it was so uncomfortable even on Zoom. And they were like, well, just like anybody else, like everyone, they did like the everyone is equal kind of answer.
No.
And I was like, oh. So that's a good indicator, right? Like how people respond. If they had just been like, listen, we've never considered it before. That's why we're changing things.
Yeah.
And that's why we're talking
like
to you.
open to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect answer to me.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like always listen to how a therapist responds to you. And then as they're talking and as you're sitting in that 15 minutes or on the phone, just check in with yourself to be like, do I like this person? Like, do I feel comfortable with this person? Do I feel like I could tell them things that are really kind of vulnerable and open? I think you will get a gut feeling.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think 15 minutes is enough time.
I think so too.
And then trust that feeling too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can imagine if you're trying to go to therapy, you've been looking for someone, you finally get a free call, you're like, I'll just take this one. I don't even care.
Yeah.
But it's like, trust yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, if you are listening and if you have been thinking about finding a therapist, please know that we have a database of over 100 Asian mental health practitioners all across Australia, except for a few states because we cannot find people in Tasmania. If you're in Tassie, please contact us. Also, I should tell everyone, Marcus, that we are updating the website at the moment by the time this launches, hopefully there'll be parts that are ready as well. But we're really focusing on updating the list, and in people's profiles, we're adding more things in, like video, photos, food that people like, favorite quotes, their zodiac animal. I've even asked that. And so hopefully when you're looking at the profile, it's not just their photo, but you get a bit more of a sense of who they are. We also share interviews as well every month, right? So we want to create all these opportunities for you to get a sense of the therapist, see if you might be good to work together. So please check out our website. We'll link it below, but it's just shapesandsounds.com. And to be honest, like, I'm excited in this season to hear those backstories of the therapists that we're going to interview.
Me
and
too.
like hear some of the challenges that they've experienced.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, as a therapist, like, are they better at getting through it than the rest? You know, I was going to say the rest of us, but I'm also supposedly. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And you can find us on Instagram and LinkedIn at Just Shapes and Sounds. Please subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review on your favorite app, your favorite podcast app, because that really helps other people to find us. Download this episode for offline listening, but most importantly, everyone, please share this episode with your friends, because word of mouth really helps to destigmatize mental health within Asian communities. So Marcus, it's wonderful to be back in the studio with you. You can do the old sign off if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm sure no one wants to hear it.
No one wants to hear our season 3 sign off. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this season. It's good to be back, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. The Asian Mental Health Podcast is a production from Shapes and Sounds, and it's made on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. This show is hosted by Asami Koike, Marcus Lai and Oscar Abe, and produced by Yo Chung. We're proudly supported by the Victorian Department of Health's Diverse Communities program. All thoughts and ideas you hear are independently ours and our guests.